Okay, hello everyone. Let's get started. So in today's video, we are going to discuss conditions. So how we can decide which piece of code to execute based on some condition. So namely, we will discuss if operator. So in the previous video, we talked about method modifiers, namely private, public, protected, and static. So if you haven't watched that video, that's the right time to do that. The link should appear on the top right corner right now. Uh, okay, and we start our today's video. So condition. So in Java, we use if operator to separate code into multiple parts, which we would like to execute based on some condition. So let's first declare a variable. Let's say int a is 2. And now we would like to execute some code based on the variable a value. So for condition, we use operator if, and here in the brackets, we write a condition which should evaluate to true or false. So basically the outcome of that condition should be a Boolean variable. So for example, we check whether a is greater than 1. So that's a condition because the value of this expression is either true or false. So if a is bigger than a, this expression evaluates to true. If a is equal to 1 or it's smaller than 1, then it's false. But in either case, it's true or false. So that's a correct condition. So for example, if I put it like this, so as you can see, we have it outlined because it's not a correct condition, because the value of this expression is not true or false. It's int type. So a it's 2 plus 1 it's 3. So 3 obviously it's not true or false. Because that's incorrect condition, and that's why we have it highlighted with red. Okay, so a is greater than 1. Okay, so that's a condition, and then we have a brackets where we write a piece of code which we would like to execute if this condition evaluates to true. Okay, so namely if a is bigger than 1, we would like to execute something. Let's say it's print ln, and here let's type a is greater than 1. Okay. Okay, let's save, execute. Okay, and obviously this piece of code has been executed, as we can see here in terminal, because a in our case is bigger than 1, so that's true. Now let's change a to -2 and let's execute it once again. And right now you can see that we don't have any output in our terminal. That's why, that's because this expression now evaluates to false. So we check whether -2 is greater than 1. Of course, that's false, and that's why the code which we have here in if section, it's not executed. One thing to remember about if is related to that brackets. So if we speak from syntax point of view, So as you see, these brackets are not mandatory. So I have removed them and still I don't have any errors. And if I launch it, it works perfectly. So let's change back to 2. Okay, so it works just as it should. Still, I would highly recommend to use brackets because if we don't use brackets, compiler thinks that only one line of code, which is after if, is related to this if. All other code, it considers not to be related to if, but to be an independent code. For example, let's add another line of code we would like to execute. This line should also belong to if. Okay, and so we have 2 lines, and both of them I would like to execute if this condition is true. Right? So let's launch. And as you see, okay, now you don't see because both these lines are here. Why? Because this line is executed because this is true, and this is executed because condition is true, and this line will be executed each time. It's not dependent on this condition. To demonstrate that, let me put it -2. Let's check and execute. Okay, so you see now this line is not printed because compiler associate this line with if. It's false now, so it's not executed. But still, he thinks that this line, this piece of code is not dependent on if, and that's why it's executed. So that's why if you want multiple lines of code to be associated with if, you should put brackets like I did. Let's save, execute. And as you see now, we don't have any output here because now Java correctly understands that both these lines belong to if, right? So to sum up, if you have only one line of code which you would like to execute based on if condition, then you, in theory, might skip using brackets. So if you have multiple lines, 2 or more, you should use brackets. That's mandatory. But I would strongly recommend to use brackets in any case, so you don't miss it when it's really needed, right? Okay, so uh, you might ask what happens if I would like to execute some code if the condition is false. Because right now these 2 lines are executed only if this is true. But I would like also to execute some code if this condition is false. For that case, in Java, we have a special word else, which highlights that there is some code which is executed when if evaluates to false. So the code which comes after if is executed when the condition is true. What comes after else is executed, then this is false, right? And what I have said about if in relation to that brackets is 100% applicable also for else. So if we have only one line of code, we can skip using brackets. If we have 2 or more, we should use brackets. Okay, and let's see how that works. Execute it, and condition evaluates to false, right? Okay. Okay, and now we can see that we have executed code from else as variable a is equal to -2. So if we evaluate, -2 is greater than 1. Of course, that's not true. It's false. That's why we execute what is under else, right? So that's the most basic scenario when we use if-else condition, right? In the next video, we will talk about more advanced use cases, yeah, where we will have multiple conditions. Yeah, so for example, first we check whether a is greater than 1. If not, we would like to check whether a is greater than 0. If not, then for example, whether a is greater than -1, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so about that more advanced cases we will talk in the next video. Yeah, but for today that's all. Thanks to all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet. Yeah. Also, you can like that video, of course, if you really like it. Also, don't forget to visit my website available at blog.dataguru.guide, where I post some interesting stuff related to Java, big data, and IT profession and programming in general. Yeah, so if you would like to read that, you are more than welcome. Also, some big data related stuff and programming blogs will be available on that YouTube channel. So once again, don't forget to subscribe. And that's all for today. Thanks to all for watching and see you on Wednesday. Bye bye.